I'm Diego Sanchez, president of HousingWire, and this is 10-Minute Talks. My guest today is Kim Nichols, Chief TPO Production Officer at Pennymac. Kim, welcome to 10-Minute Talks.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here, Diego. Great to see you. Congrats on your promotion.
Really appreciate that. I'm also really excited for this conversation. I think we have a lot to talk about. Before we dive in, could you give a 60-second introduction of yourself and Pennymac?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I give 30 plus years in 60 seconds. I've actually been in mortgage for over 30 years. Like everyone, I kind of fell into it. My first job, I was a temp photocopying loan files for a mortgage company. So that's how I fell into it. But the first part of my career was really spent in capital markets and secondary marketing, which provided such a great foundation for understanding the economics of this business, which, as you know, are extremely complex. I highly recommend that environment for anyone who wants to dig in and understand this business. If you have a chance to be in that world, I think it's just such a great background. From there, I ended up, I spent a good amount of time in capital markets, secondary marketing, pivoted into the world of mortgage insurance for a while. Both on the structured finance credit enhancement side as well as the origination side. That provided, just a great credit background and just understanding mortgage performance, really good background there. And from there, I got into the correspondent channel and, kind of built a client base, relationships there, worked for a couple of different companies. And in 2011, Pennymac approached me and they wanted to really, build a correspondent platform, and I was part of a leadership team that was tasked with building and growing the delegated correspondent channel, which, as you know, Pennymac Correspondent's leader in that channel today. And once we had established a leadership position, I was tapped to open the wholesale channel for Pennymac. And we started working on it in 2017, and here we are today, number 3.
That's amazing. And it's a really neat story of progression through that career. So you've been through a couple of market cycles at this point. Is there anything that you think has been different about this current cycle that we're going through?
Yes. I want to say it might be the most challenging cycle I've ever observed in the business. And you can say, GFC 2008 was challenging. But this past year with the inventory challenges and rates going up and the market having so much excess capacity at the time, I think it just really was an adjustment, and it has been challenging. But we've been able to grow through that.
So you now run the wholesale channel at Pennymac. But as you mentioned before, you used to run the correspondent channel, and there are several other channels that Pennymac operates in. Where does wholesale sit in relation to these other channels that Pennymac operates in terms of executive priority?
Yeah, I would say we don't really, prioritize one channel over another. I mean, just like raising kids, one might need a little bit more attention than another, depending on market conditions or what have you. We talked a little bit about correspondent. Pennymac's number 1 in the correspondent channel. It's a very mature business. We'll continue to have marginal growth there, but it's really, really a mature platform, and you're always striving for efficiencies, in a mature business. But then you look to the servicing business, which is really, really important to us. And you can see, looking at our earnings, 2023, which was a very challenging year from a production environment, that servicing revenue was really critical to our success, our earnings, and our shareholders. So that's part of really having that balanced business model, and servicing continues to be a very important part of our model here at Pennymac. And then you have, our consumer direct channel, which is really, port recapture. That's the focus of that group. But we don't have distributed retail. We're not in distributed retail. And so what we look to is that our broker network is our reach into the purchase market, into the communities we want to serve, And we've invested a lot in that, and that's where we see a lot of upside growth potential is really in the wholesale channel.
And that makes sense, right? I mean, you were a leader that helped build the correspondent channel into number one, and now you're in the wholesale channel. So that probably tells me and our audience that you're putting some priority on building the wholesale channel.
Absolutely. Yes. We still have a lot of upside growth there.
So the big players in wholesale are UWM and Rocket, and UWM in particular has taken considerable market share over the past year or two. How does Pennymac Wholesale plan to compete with those big two players and the other players that are trying to take market share in the wholesale ecosystem?
Yeah, so I mean, part of it is time in the space, time in the channel. You look at some of those players; they have a big lead on us. I mean, we really didn't even open the doors, till 2018 here. So this is still, a kind of a new and growing channel compared to, some of the larger players out there. But I would say, first and foremost, competing with the two leaders in the space, it's investment in technology has been really critical for us. We got into the channel. We went through the pandemic and the big swell of volume that came through, and we realized at that point in time that we had to up our technology game. And so we built a new broker portal. We rolled out Power Plus in 2023. We were doing that migration in a slower market, which I think kind of served us well. And now that's in steady state. So investment in technology is really what is needed to scale, gain efficiencies, and compete with the larger players. It also, if being in this channel, it's interesting. You have a lot of LOs migrating, from distributed retail into the broker channel, and then you have, loan officers. This is a one loan officer at a time game. I mean, these are loan officers that have been doing business with, some of the other companies in the channel, and they really need to develop new muscle memory of, look, I've done a lot of business with brand X, and change is hard. And man, I only have, 2 or 3 loans in my pipeline. I don't want to try something new. So it's really about, building intuitive technology that LOs are really, really comfortable operating within, loan officers and processors, and then taking that technology and wrapping it with a human touch. Because I always like to say we're tech forward. Tech's really, really important, but that human focus is important as well. And so we take that tech and we wrap it with that human touch. We have, you can't just throw an LO into tech and say, oh, do your loan, it's going to be fine, right? They might need a little help getting through that first loan. So we have, live customer support in the form of a Zoom room, on-demand access to people who are there to help them get their loans through the system, whether it's their first loan, second loan, third loan. It's about creating an environment of trust and comfort and really familiarity with our system. So that's one big way, that we plan on competing and stepping to the level of competition channel.
I love that marriage between technology and the human touch. I think it's so important, especially if you're trying to capture market share and capture mind share, on that LO by LO basis. That makes a lot of sense to me. So you were a speaker at HousingWire Annual this past fall, and you'll be joining us as an attendee at the Gathering, which is our event coming up in April. What about your 2023 HousingWire Annual experience encouraged you to come back to us with the Gathering?
Yeah, it was a unique event. I think, conferences, trade shows have their place in the industry. This was very different for me. And, I made connections outside of my normal circle. We go to broker events or MBA events, whatnot. And there was this real sense of community. When we arrived in Austin, we walked through those doors, it was almost like, there were a lot of my peers there from competitors, but it was almost like we weren't competitors for a couple of days. We were a community really working together to further understand the landscape, how we could, serve our customers better, how we could, grow our teams, grow our expertise. It was really this true sense of community, and it was a unique experience. And I made some really great connections there, people I hadn't met before that I'm now in touch with. So this year I'm not only joining, I'm bringing along our Chief Marketing Officer, because I think she'll get a lot out of it. And of course, it was great to meet the HousingWire team, and having the opportunity to work with Brenna, and Logan's already a friend of mine, so I got to meet Sarah and Clayton, yourself, James, Flavia. It was really it was a true sense of community, and I'm excited about the new format that you have this year in terms of merging in the real estate side of things, and then a little bit of crossover, and then the mortgage focus. So we're looking forward to it.
I love that. So as we wrap up, what's your growth strategy in a nutshell for the rest of this year and then beyond 2024?
Yeah, we want to grow our partner base. I mean, even though we're number 3 in the wholesale channel, we still, we have an approved 70% of the mortgage brokers out there. We're ready to grow that partner base, for one. And how do we do that? We want to increase the number of AEs that we have. We want to build our team of account executives. I mean, one of the value propositions that we have is our account executives have on average like 15 years of mortgage experience. Highly experienced, technical, can help the LOs with scenarios and really be there for them as kind of their business partner, and help loan officers grow their business with that kind of expertise, kind of an advisor. And so we want to continue to build our team of experienced account executives, because a great account executive will bring great relationships with them. So that's one way to approach, building our partner base. And I think, success kind of breeds success. As we have more success in the wholesale channel and key influential LOs and brokers in the channel really start to talk about Pennymac, it just feeds itself. So we're building a great brand reputation in the TPO channel, which we're excited about. We've recently made some enhancements to our non-delegated process. We'll continue along the lines of deploying some technology to further support the non-delegated segment, which I think we could stand to grow a lot more there. We think there is a great opportunity, huge opportunity in home equity, and a lot of folks are talking about it, but in the broker world, I have not seen brokers really embrace, how can I build a campaign around this? How can I get back into my CRM and tap those past customers? Because there really is an opportunity to help people right now. And debt consolidation, nobody wants to give up that rate, low rate on their first mortgage, but heck, we see credit card debt kind of crest over $1 trillion. Accumulated equity sits at 32 trillion dollars, something like that. It was some astronomical number, and so
it's really big. Historical highs in nested equity.
Yes. So all of that together provides such a great environment to tap the home equity market, and so we think we want to help our customers tap into that. We're getting a little bit of traction on jumbo here. Hope to grow that segment of the market. So we have a lot of different approaches and feeders, but mostly in the wholesale channel, it's day-to-day execution. Speed to certainty is really what we're selling. And I just got out of a meeting with a loan officer who came out of distributed retail. We have a great partnership with, and he said, I take my business to Pennymac because I know that I can get a clear to close within 10 days. I can close within 13 days. Days matter in this situation. So there are some advantages that we bring to the market: that speed to certainty, that transparency, the ease of use in our technology, that's really enabling that and helping, especially in the purchase market where those days really matter.
I love seeing a third strong competitor in the wholesale channel. I think the wholesale channel is better off for that competition. Kim, thank you so much for joining me today. I think this has been a really great conversation.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been fun.